Girl, she needs a filter today. In more ways than one. Listen, we're going full, like, no makeup, so I'm just gonna need you to deal with my ugly face for the rest of the video. Or don't, you can just leave. When I make gabbie henna videos now, I try to make them, like, all-encompassing and, like, super comprehensive, so I don't have to make, like, more than one every other month or as they happen. I don't like to make too many too close together. But god damn it. Welcome back to my channel, and if you've never been here before, rent's due or whatever. I truly and genuinely had zero zilch, none, no plans to talk about gabbie henna after my last video with the manic episodes and TikTok sagas and all of that.
However,
she came up on my For You page this morning, and I have words to say. Like I said, I don't like to make more than one gabbie video. Unless I have something to say, like legitimately. And I legitimately have something to say. But before we get into it, make sure you're subscribed, like the video, blah blah blah. I am doing a 20k giveaway when we hit 20k, and we are dangerously close. Make sure you're subscribed, and then we'll worry about the parameters when we get to the 20k, okay? One thing at a time. As kind of like a quick recap, in mid to late August, Gabbie went on a hundreds talk long tirade on TikTok about being the second coming of Christ, all types of like religious ideology and theories. She said a bunch of really racist and transphobic things. She basically discredited the entire DID community by essentially making a mockery of them. She let a stranger, which some believe might not actually be a stranger, into her home, and it turns out she was having a manic episode. She said so herself. And Gabbie saying this herself with her own mouth is probably the most important part of this video, so please hold on to that. Nail it in. We're not putting a pin in it. We're gonna fucking nail it. We're gonna get the hot glue gun, okay? That shit's gonna be there. So when Gabbie came down from this manic episode, she sort of talked us through her mania and her episodes and what she was thinking, which honestly didn't make things much better. Instead of sincerely apologizing and moving forward about things she said that were racist or transphobic or ableist or whatever, she just was like, well, let me tell you what I really meant. Oh, well, that wasn't it. Let me tell you what I really, really meant. There were a lot of like, I'm sorry, but, which is not an apology. A real, sincere, genuine, dedicated apology to black folks, trans folks, folks with DID. I even have now forgotten all of the people that she actually offended. Those apologies are necessary, because even if you're in a manic state and you say something that maybe you don't necessarily mean, or you're not sure where that came from or whatever, or even if you did mean them, I mean, either stand by it or don't. Either be sorry for it or don't. Playing this like middle ground wishy-washy, I'm sorry, but this is what I meant, doesn't fly. What you said, regardless of what mental state you were in when you said it, regardless of how you meant it, you hurt people. And I know we've talked about this a lot, even in this last video, but if you hurt people, you should
fucking apologize.
It's like a really very basic concept that most of us acquire in toddlerhood. Anyway, that's not why we're here this time. We touched on all of that last time. From then to now, Gabbie has largely just been dancing like everyone's watching. She's been live, laugh, loving all over TikTok. This, which genuinely made me laugh. She started painting again, which, alright. She's graffitied her own home to include the outdoor patio balcony area that she just had done. and her fucking driveway.
I finished my driveway.
God help her if she ever has to move out of that fucking house. She ain't gonna sell it. Anyway, then we headed down to Advice Town. We must have taken a wrong turn at Please Don't. And then we fell into the Grand Canyon, which has been aptly renamed No One Asked for This. Just the same, Gabbie goes on about how you shouldn't accept advice from people who don't have what you want.
I'm going to give you the best advice that I was ever given, and only take this advice if I have a lifestyle that you want to live. Because the advice is never take advice from somebody who does not have what you want. I don't give a whole lot of marriage advice. You know why? I'm not fucking married. Never have been. Do you want some advice on following your dreams, publishing a book, becoming financially secure, buying a home, creatively working towards your dreams? I fucking got you. If somebody doesn't have the house you want, don't listen to them when they're giving house advice. If somebody's not living a happy life, don't listen to them when it comes to living your best life. If somebody doesn't have a happy relationship, why would you listen to them with their relationship advice? But what I found is a lot of people will give you unsolicited advice so fucking confidently, and you think you just should take it.
In theory, makes good sense. I had a friend who had the same kind of mentality, and my feeling on it has stayed pretty much the same. Sure, if you know somebody who has their shit together, right, and you're in the process of getting your shit together, the person you want to ask about getting your shit together is the friend who has their shit together, right? However, that's a slippery slope, because that opens up the conversation of who do you accept criticism from then? I feel like this opens up the possibility for one to say, well, this person doesn't have the life I want. Why would I accept their criticism? Just because somebody doesn't have what you want doesn't mean that their criticisms of you are invalid. Just because I'm not a size 2 doesn't mean I can't recognize unhealthy eating habits. Just because I'm not married doesn't mean that I can't recognize an abusive marriage. Just because I don't have a lot of money doesn't mean that I can't recognize when someone is spending money recklessly. Which brings us to why we're all poor and Gabbie is not.
What if I told you most people actually don't have a problem making money? They have a problem saving money. It's our spending habits, for the most part, that people get wrong. Stop eating out. Stop wasting money. Invest in yourself. That's a choice. I make a pot of Mr. Coffee every single morning. The pot costs between $15 and $20. I buy a whole canister of coffee that lasts me months for $12 or $13 or $14 or whatever it is. This is the most delicious creamer. It's dairy free. You can get any flavor you want. You can put cinnamon in it. You can put whipped cream in it. But one thing Gabbie Hanna never has and never will be into is spending anywhere between $4 and $7 to $10 fucking dollars on a coffee in the morning.
Ah, yes, the classic boomer. Stop buying all that avocado toast and you get to have a mortgage on that minimum wage salary, peasant. I'm so sick of this narrative that if we, the peasants, show like a modicum of enjoyment by doing something like budgeting in coffee or budgeting in a pedicure or something that brings us a small amount of joy, we are our own problem, and that's why we can't afford a mortgage or a fancy car or a $700 thrift haul at any given moment. We can't afford these things because the wages are too low, the rent and mortgage rates are too high, and capitalism sets us up to fucking fail. Period. This narrow-minded view of like, oh, well, if you just make coffee every morning, you'd save so much money, yada, 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 yada. Yeah, sure. My God, the world is trash. Like, let people have their coffee guilt-free. Because frankly, whether they have them or not, they're going to be in exactly the same position. $5 a day, $35 a week, average, is not, that's enough to make or break someone, sure. But if they're spending $5 a day, the likelihood is that they have that budgeted in. Also, that creamer is not dairy-free, it's lactose-free. Yeah, sure, we can have our time, our money, peace in the morning, but like some of us have like kids, who we have to get ready for school in the morning and take them to school and go to jobs and run errands and take care of our homes and things. So sometimes there's just not enough time in the morning. Maybe once a week or so I get myself a coffee because it's just easier. And I don't want a whole pot of coffee. And I don't want to take the time to make it because I'd rather spend time with my kids in the morning. Sometimes it's just easier to grab a coffee in the morning. And this happens to be that morning. Not everyone has that luxury to have that peaceful morning of stretching and twerking and scream singing into our bathroom mirrors like we're 12. Most regular people have to go to work. Some people have kids. Some people have other responsibilities that they need to attend to. And hey, what about people who don't even drink coffee or tea or a morning beverage like that? How come they don't have big mansion? Riddle me that, Susie Orman.
It will ruin your credit score.
The thing about this that irritates me is that, like, Gabbie really thinks like she worked her fingers to the bone to get where she is. I know firsthand content creation is a lot of work. It's a lot of time and effort. I know firsthand that acting in things is a lot of fucking work, and it's a lot of fucking time, and it's draining. I've done all of these things, right? And like, congratulations on hitting it big on Vine and being able to make the transition from Vine to YouTube, because that didn't work out for everybody. But at this point, Gabbie has become so out of touch with reality, and I don't mean that in a way that's like because of her mental health. I mean because like she's living in this idealistic world where like everything I do you can do too. It's so simple, when it's like no. What happened with Gabbie becoming a millionaire and like a social media presence is like a 1 in a million thing. Also, like, all the advice she gives just feels like it just all smacks of Joel Osteen, and I can't get behind it.
All that negative that's weighing you down, limiting your future. Why don't you serve some eviction notices?
Also, she doesn't have what I want.
Today's hypothesis is that mental health is just the words that small-minded bullies put on weirdos with different thoughts.
Okay, first of all, you're not any of these people. You are not Poe, you are not Einstein, you're not Van Gogh, you're not Abraham Lincoln, you're not any of them. You are a woman who came up on an app that no longer exists, who hit the social media fucking lottery, okay? I'm not saying Gabbie's untalented or that she's unworthy of any respect for her art. However, let's correct a few things here. Einstein's son was actually the one that was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Einstein displayed traits of schizophrenia. Abraham Lincoln struggled with depression his entire life. He was not formally diagnosed bipolar. And yes, Van Gogh cut off his fucking ear to get away from the voices that he was hearing. And do you know why he was hearing voices? Because of acute manic episodes. It's almost like, and hear me out, it's almost like being manic and refusing to take care of your mania or seek help can result in you becoming a danger to yourself and others. It's almost like denying that there's a problem doesn't fix the problem. Second of all, the term mental health is words that are used to describe the well-being of your mental state, similarly to physical health. And I'm honestly so fucking sick of this bully's narrative that she's being bullied. Every time someone says something Gabbie doesn't want to fucking hear, they're bullies. Everybody's bullying her. The entire internet, for the most part, was legitimately concerned for Gabbie Hanna when she was going through a manic episode. Most of us wished her well and hoped that there was someone in the vicinity that could help her. And I mean, granted, we got Nick because of that.
Just chillin' with Gabbie Hanna.
But the intentions were good. The intentions seemed to be only good from people who had regularly criticized Gabbie, including myself. Then when Gabbie essentially admits that this episode was for attention and to go viral, makes half-assed apologies to all of the communities that she hurt, while then also kind of essentially doubling down on what she said, refuses now to go to therapy or seek help, tells us it wasn't that bad, and then because of that, we're pissed off that yet again we've extended concern for Gabbie and she's thrown it back in our faces as though we are some sort of fucking villains because we wished her well and then said, hey, maybe you should take accountability for the things you said because those were not right. So because of all that, we're bullies. I mean, I'm not a drama channel per se, but like I assume this covers anyone who speaks of Gabbie, right? That in less than glowing terms. Because it all comes back to the tabloids of the internet, right? And it's just easier to blame people who have offered both constructive and non-constructive criticism. People who have said, hey, your words fucking hurt me. But it's the tabloids. Now here's the one that really set me off, because this was a comment showing actual concern for Gabbie, sincerely wishing her well. And this was the response.
This is gaslighting. People fucking gaslighted me when I said it. This is gaslighting. Every single thing I do and post, you can get better, you deserve help, you're crazy, get medication, go to...
Yeah, girl, people want you to be well, and then when you exhibit signs of being unwell, they show concern. And that's what we call a human interaction. And by the way, that comment was in reference to this TikTok that I'm gonna have to seagull. In this TikTok, Gabbie admits for the second time now, in less than a month, that she is an irresponsible pet owner. And like, look, I'm not trying to take these tiny things that Gabbie says and blow them up to be huge fucking things. And like, I know shit happens, no pun intended, and like life gets in the way and all of that, but like she has time in the day to post like 800 and fucking TikToks. She has the audacity to throw around accusations of like parental negligence when it comes to people she doesn't like. And then follows that up by saying that her cats shit on the counter because she was stressed out about drama and didn't take care of them properly, and then talks about them pissing in her shower because she's not changing their litter. Today we're going to learn about the word projection. Anyway, go on, Gabbie. Gaslighting is consistently making someone question their reality. Oh, really? Pretending like you weren't manic and pretending like there's no cause for concern isn't gaslighting, though? Okay, we'll get to that one.
What people keep telling me is that by me showing kindness to a stranger in a situation that should be relatively safe at 9:30 in the morning, a 27-year-old kind of scrawny kid saying he was just gonna pee in the sidewalk or in the bushes, but he knows children play here. Literally, I was kind to a fucking stranger. My friend was on the phone. I got his full name. I made it known to him that I and somebody else know his identity. I did not think that I was gonna get attacked by Nicholas Pfeiffer. And telling people to not be kind to strangers because they might be murderers is a pretty fucking sad way to try to tell people to live their lives.
People are more likely to be murdered by people that they know than people that they don't. And also, did you really never consider that he may have given you a fake name? Because at this point, you're just like straight up telling people that like being cautious about letting complete strangers into their home that you don't know, who just like show up unexpectedly, is unkind. And frankly, that's fucking dangerous. It was 9:30 in the morning. Like, I don't give a fuck if it was 9:30 in the morning. People get murdered at 9:30 in the morning all the time. Now, a lot of people have a theory that Nick and Gabbie actually know each other already, and this was like a bit to throw fuel on the dumpster fire. I'm not saying I believe that or I disbelieve that. This is just people have been hypothesizing, because the beginning of his TikTok stories and her story about like him coming over don't really line up. Now, it's totally possible that some of this could have been said in the interim between when he came in and used her bathroom and when they started filming TikToks together, but I don't know. I'm not going to make a judgment either way. But I am going to say, please don't let complete strangers into your home. I don't think that that is a good or safe idea. You could be assaulted or murdered at any time of day, and that's not a threat. I'm just letting you know that morning time doesn't mean you're safe. Just thinking. I'm just spitballing. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. Take me or leave me. Take it or leave. Just leave.
The reason Nicholas Pfeiffer showed up at my house was because the internet decided again that it was the yearly or biannual bashing of Gabbie Hanna, and because I was posting spoken word poetry in my Poems by Gabbie Hanna playlist, they rhymed, they were literally poems, people decided to make it viral to say that I was manic.
Okay. Gabbie. I hate to break it to you. This is gaslighting. This is textbook gaslighting. Your spoken word poetry, which I know it started as spoken word poetry, but the rest of what you're claiming is spoken word poetry, was part of a manic episode. You admitted that it was a manic episode.
So, yes, I was manic. I am bipolar. I've talked about it. You can scroll back. It's no secret. I'm bipolar. It started with me doing some spoken word poetry and trying to talk about things that I care about.
Unless this is you outright admitting that it wasn't. In which case, I genuinely don't know which one of those things is worse.
It was literally on NBC News Live. This is outrageous. Radical shift that people think they see is the response of an emotional breakdown caused by the constant manipulation and gaslighting by the entire world, started by certain tabloids online, telling people that I'm crazy.
The outrageous part is where you think the internet tabloids are to blame for any of this. Even those of us with criticisms of Gabbie have been largely respectful. Peter Mon, Angelica Oles, even I never was just fucking tearing Nick a new asshole. So many people were actually on Gabbie's side on this one, which is why I find it so interesting that she's so adamantly like, okay, this is what you do, this is what the internet does, you all fucking hate me. And it's just like, so many people were actually concerned. And if that's like a too little, too late kind of thing, well, then fine. Because at this point, I think most people's patience has worn thin anyhow. I think it's really personally irresponsible for Gabbie to never ever take accountability for anything. Like, have you ever noticed that like Gabbie has never, in Gabbie's eyes, Gabbie has never ever been wrong through her series, through attacking Rachel Oates, through attacking anytime she's come for Jessie Smiles, anytime she's come for anybody. She's never been wrong. Isn't that wild? Even when handed receipts for things, she's never been wrong. She's never actually, aside from the Bianca Devin situation, I didn't feel like she handled the situation correctly in like just trying to like blur out or exit out. Like, I feel like she should have at least said something. But like, I don't think she fumbled that as hard as some other people do. And I think she followed it up with an appropriate apology. I think everything she's done since that appropriate apology has been wrong. Aside from that initial apology, she's never truly taken accountability for anything. Yeah, she can say like, oh, well, I was a bitch on the set of Escape the Night. Oh yeah, well, I was this, I was that. But let me tell you how other people were worse. And like, I know that sometimes like manic people don't know that they're manic. I don't think Gabbie is manic currently. But I cannot fathom why she cannot just take accountability for anything. Like, she can't take accountability for anything. It's so disappointing, I guess. Expected at this point, but still somewhat disappointing. I don't think she's still manic, but I do think she's in denial about the state of her own mental health. I just feel like she could have such a great comeback and a great redemption arc if she just would admit to herself and to her audience that she was wrong, unequivocally, without buts and howevers, without, with no interjections or no excuses, just full accountability. Whether or not the internet is gaslighting you because you were manic, you said the things you said. Whether or not you were actually manic or it was an act, you said the things you said. Those things were still said. They were still racist, transphobic, and ableist things that were said. Like, period. They don't go away just because you say the internet tabloids are mean to me. The deflection doesn't work, especially anymore. It's so fucking tired. And honestly, nothing says I'm fine quite like a series of TikToks proving that you're not. Oh, and by the way, in the Truman Show, Truman didn't know his life was a show. In fact, everyone was very adamant to make sure that he didn't know that his life was a show. You made your life a show. You made your life a spectacle. So,
This is not the same.
10 out of 10 Britney Spears agree. I don't know, I'm just so genuinely exhausted by this behavior. And I know, like, some of her fans or whatever would say, like, well, why do you keep making videos then? And I don't know, honestly. It's not a rinse do kind of thing. It's not about money. It's not about views. It's literally something that to me is so fucking infuriating because Gabbie had all of the ingredients, all of the qualities, all of the chutzpah to make a successful career. And I know she likes to talk about her success, and she's successful, and she's this, and she's that. I retired at 30, blah, blah, blah. But she's not happy. The happy people don't need to remind you that they're happy. It's sad to watch because it's something that she could fix pretty easily. You can be an artist and you can be creative without being a dickhead. You can, in fact, write and paint and sing and dance without harming people who are struggling with their mental health. You can make your freshly brewed coffee without telling people that will never be able to afford a fucking home that the reason that they can't afford the home is because they, made a trip to Starbucks because they were in a rush that day. You can express thoughts and concerns and questions and queries about black folks and trans folks and folks with other mental health disorders without invalidating them, without being racist or transphobic. And also, you yourself can be unwell and make mistakes and fuck up and do dumb things and then apologize properly and move forward. For someone who talks so much about embracing their mental illness and da-da-da-da, you can still exist and need help. You can still be an artist and be unwell and seek treatment. Like, there's no shame in that. And the more you reject the idea of seeking help for yourself, the more work you're doing to stigmatize the mental health disorders that you have. Because now a young person who has seen like the series of TikToks where Gabbie was or was not having a manic episode, and then they hear that, their friend is having a manic episode, and the only thing they can think about is the time that they watched Gabbie Hanna have a manic episode on TikTok and how she handled it by ignoring all of the racist and transphobic things that she said. And, walking away going, I'm fine. How is this person not going to think, okay, well, this person will be fine. They're not a danger to themselves or others. Because if you remember, Van Gogh cut off his ear during an acute manic episode. He was hearing voices. It takes 2 seconds for a manic episode to go from not at all a danger to themselves or others to, I think I can fly off this fucking building. It doesn't mean that you want to hurt yourself. It means that you're in a different state of mind and potentially could be dangerous to yourself without even having any thoughts of self-harm. I think if people were able to see change and growth in Gabbie, like real change, real growth, instead of just this obstinance and ignorance, like, I feel like Gabbie would yell the word gaslighting a lot less.
I'm trying a new thing where I smoke for 8 days and am sober for 4 days so that I never get to the place where I'm desperate for a tolerance break. proactive.
Oh, well, good. I was worried she didn't have that under control. Anyway, I'm really tired of talking about Gabbie Hanna. Not just today, but in general. I know it makes me angry, and I just need to get it off my chest, or it'll sit there in my brain like a fucking something stuck in my brain. Anyway, what do you think? What do you think? What are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget, 20k giveaway is coming, well, as soon as I hit 20k. Like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, social media, Patreon, channel memberships, all that good shit. It's all down below. Feel free to check it out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye! By the way, how fun are hot glue guns? Okay, and? I'm very tired. Who cares? Shut the fuck up!